Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to all of you. Thanks for tuning in to the JP Peterson Show on Dead Week, as we like to call it. No baseball, no leagues going on, no nothing. But we got plenty of topics to get to today. We've got big Bucs news to get to. A signing that might just indicate that Gronk is really done. The ESPYs, boy, that was one for the ages last night. My partner here, Nick Geddes from Outsider.com, was tasked with watching that, so I did not have to. I'm a horrible boss, aren't I?
I made sure to fill you in with the key highlights, though. Anything you needed to know, I made sure you knew.
I was pretty good. I had some other business to attend to, so that was just fine. Was it exciting? I heard Dick Vitale had a great and impassioned speech. We'll have some of that audio.
Oh yeah, we'll have that audio. Dick Vitale was, to me, the star of the entire show, getting the Jimmy V Award. He spoke for, I want to say, damn near 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And even though they tried to get him off the stage, which I don't know why you ever try to get Dick Vitale off the stage.
We got schedules to get to. We got awards to hand out.
The show, I think he made the show go long, because it blew past 11 o'clock, which I'm assuming was supposed to be over. But he was the best part of the show by far, in my opinion.
Yeah. And some of the other awards, questionable.
Very, very, very questionable award winners, but not in the slightest bit surprised.
Yeah. Seemed like
That sounded so weird. Very surprising award winners, but I'm still not surprised. If you can believe me, that's the way I feel about it.
So it wasn't a whole lot about sports. It was more about social issues, social justice.
I mean, they had a really nice Title IX celebration with Billie Jean King. They had all the female athletes get on the stage, and Mickey Guyton did
they're supporting women's sports tonight.
Yeah, it was very Title IX based. It was really nice. Mickey Guyton had a really saying Remember Her Name, her song.
Yeah.
And they had all the female athletes on the stage.
That was
great. Really nice.
That's fantastic.
But
was Leah Thomas there?
I don't think she made the trip. No.
Oh, she didn't.
Don't think she made the trip.
Okay.
But
did she win an award?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I haven't watched the ESPYs for a long, long time. When it first came out, and it was really celebrating sports and all the different teams and the plays. And I remember when they had all the promos of the best plays of the year, vote for the ESPYs. Or was that before?
Hey, who votes for the ESPYs? The fans?
No.
I didn't think
ESPN management
because
at this point.
I just keep hearing Steph Curry won an award and he's like, thank you for everybody who voted for me. And I'm like, who voted?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It just, to me, most of the award winners, the NBA.
I think it's mostly
NFL.
President G that runs most of it. Yeah, I was watching something on Tucker Carlson about how they had recordings of NBA executives telling Enes Kanter not to wear his free Tibet shoes because it would piss off the Chinese government, and we can't have that. And he's out of the league. So, will he get the Kaepernick treatment?
I mean, he's washed as well. So
okay, it was washed because he wants to wear free Tibet sneakers. Yeah, that might be it.
Anyway,
we can rip. Look. I mean, it's such a hypocritical thing that they can talk about any political matters that they want and put Black Lives Matter on the court. But when Enes Kanter talks about freeing Tibet and freeing people from genocide and the Uyghurs, we can't have that. When LeBron James will not have anybody talking ill about China or anything, because that's where all their who cares about all the human rights abuses? Who cares about all that stuff? I mean, it's business. It's just business. They got to get their billions from China, which is fine. But just it really is disingenuous to rip your own country in so many ways, and in a lot of ways, bringing up stuff that is completely complete misinformation. But while the entire time saying we can't say anything bad about China whatsoever. Why? And if you're going to have a freedom of expression in the league, have freedom of expression, not just one. And by the way, supporting a government and a regime that is our enemy and is trying to destroy our culture and a way of life. And we have basketball leagues that are supporting that and you're not allowed to criticize it, but that's supposed to be okay. Sorry. I can't buy into that. I can't buy into it. So, we have to live with that double standard. But anyway, so that was the ESPYs last night. Not I'm sure the ratings were through the roof. The big news is Kyle Rudolph is joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And does this really send – because one of the reasons we thought, Gronk's coming back is because they haven't signed a tight end. They haven't signed another tight end. Now they have. And it's a guy that's a two-time Pro Bowler, but certainly past those prime years of his life. He's 33 years old. 10 years with the Vikings. Last year with the Giants, caught, 26 passes last year. Not great. But this is certainly just a stopgap measure, not Gronk. Here's the stat of the day. I didn't know this one. Tom Brady's red zone passing since he got to Tampa Bay with Gronk on the field, 48 touchdowns, 0 interceptions with Gronk on the field. 48 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's good, right?
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. But Gronk again on GMA. Do we have that audio by chance?
Queuing it up.
Gronk on GMA basically came out and said the same thing he said to Mike Reese the other day, but I would once again say it is not in not the most convincing fashion. It almost seems like he's kind of using the same phrases over and over again, and again, not very convincing for me. So I will lean towards the bedroom chatter from Camille Kostic before I go all in for Gronk's GMA once again admission that he's done with football.
Well, I feel like every day there's like a news story that comes out and it's like Gronk reiterates, Gronk reiterates.
Yeah.
Like he's just like speaking to anybody that I mean, everybody's asking him the question.
Well, he's doing a lot of interviews right now.
He's doing a lot of interviews,
doing
right
a lot
now,
of press things. Yeah.
And he's answering the same question and he's like being overly like, I'm done. Like, I'm done, guys. Like, and I feel like he like feels the need to because he's already come out of retirement once.
Right.
And at the time, I don't know how many people bought it then. And people really don't buy it now because the obvious thing is that he's going to come back, right? And so
it's like now I always thought it was obvious, but now I guess I just don't see how Brady would come back when it's such a dramatic difference with him on the field and when he's not. I guess, does Brady lack for confidence if Gronk's not there? No, I'm not going to say that.
Here's the thing, though. The people that know the true answer in this have to be the Bucs. Have to be the Bucs.
Yeah. Based
on the fact that they just went after Kyle Rudolph. Because that's the thing. You can't just sit around
right
all year and wait for Gronk to come back if he's going to come back. You have to act now. The tight end room is the tight end market on the free agency is just very, very thin, even with Kyle Rudolph in that market. And does he move the needle much for me? Yeah, not really. But I mean, I mentioned him as one of the guys you want to get in there just to have a veteran because I just don't think Cam Brate at this point. I don't think he's a tight end one.
Well, he's not. He's not. Just can't block.
No, he can't block.
He can't block. I mean, I should say can't
Rudolph,
block. He's just not a very good blocker. And in that, in a scheme where you want to run the football, you're going to see, the Bucs probably going with more of an unbalanced line, bringing in an offensive tackle as that extra blocker. And of course, obviously, that's a huge, huge giveaway that you're running the football.
And that's why I don't think Cam Brate's a tight end one, not because he can't block, but because I just don't think his receiving at this point outweighs all that to be a tight end one.
Right.
So I think Kyle Rudolph. He's obviously a more capable blocker than Cam Brate. A sneaky, I guess, underrated little red zone target in his own right and has a lot of experience. And you don't want to have to throw Cade Otton in there to the Wolves. So, get the two veteran tight ends. And, hey, if Gronk still wants to come back, then he wants to come back. They're in no rush to put Cade Otton in there. So the Bucs still got to cover. We don't know the financials on this deal yet, I don't think.
No,
but
that's the thing.
I have to think they're very, very low.
Well, that's the thing. Greg Allman's going to join us at 11 o'clock, covers the Bucs for The Athletic, and we'll see if he's got any numbers yet on this deal. Obviously, the Bucs, I believe, have, $10 to $12 million in cap space and still probably could create even more. But I think that still has an opening there to bring Gronk back. I know Gronk wants to get paid. He's not coming back for the veteran minimum. I've heard some people say that, and I know for a fact that people in his camp are like, he's definitely not doing that. If he's coming back, he's getting paid, and is going to get paid what he got paid last year.
If the guy's getting hurt, if the guy had to retire because his body was just so beaten down, he's not coming back for the vet minimum.
No, he's not.
Nobody in their right mind is putting themselves through that punishment for the vet minimum.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the numbers on this Kyle Rudolph deal are important. And if they are paying him like, $5, $6, $7 million, which I don't expect that is. I mean, 26 catches last year, 257 yards, and 1 touchdown, 2.9 yards per separation, according to Next Gen Stats, after averaging 4.0 yards and 3.4 yards in the 2 previous seasons. So the skills are clearly diminishing. But to me, this is just an insurance policy, a stopgap, and to have somebody else and a veteran in the room who's got a good pedigree. I mean, the guy's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's not a bum, but he's not what he used to be.
No, but there was a graphic yesterday, if I can find it real quick. This guy is going to be so happy to play with Tom Brady because did you see this list?
Yeah, that was on the Almond tweeted that out. There's the list of quarterbacks that he's played with.
Goodness. Here it is.
Christian Ponder, Kirk Cousins, that's a good one. Yeah.
Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Castle, Joe Webb, and Daniel Jones.
The great Joe Webb.
Those are the quarterbacks that Kyle Rudolph has caught his 49 career touchdown passes from. Christian Ponder.
Yeah. Probably not going to make a great career on catching passes from the great Christian Ponder, Florida State guy.
So when I look at that list, it's a pretty impressive body of work he's put together playing with some, let's just say some scrubs.
Yeah.
To put it lightly.
So I'm thinking Kyle's deal is probably a veteran minimum or a low, but it's still going to allow the Bucs to sign Gronk. So I won't necessarily take it off the table, and
they still have to sign, by the way, Logan Hall and Kate Otten as well. So I don't know how much the rookie. I mean, Kate Otten's the first round pick. Is that usually done?
No, we don't have a first round. It's a second round pick.
Yeah,
Logan Hall.
Well, that saves the money right there.
Yeah, saves him a lot of money.
Do they have like a set? Is there like a set number there? Right.
The pool. Yeah. So I still think, from what I've read, they still have $8 to $9 million left in cap room to pay Gronk, and I just can't think that they would. When you're all in for Brady. You would either go out and use that money to get somebody else, or you would know damn well that Gronk's coming back. So I'm still leaning towards Gronk coming back. But you want to play this latest audio here?
Well, I'm trying to play it, but you see, I'm getting
you're getting the dreaded circling.
I'm getting the dreaded circling
of the drain
on a video that I've had queued up. So we might have to come back to this later.
Okay, it basically he said what he said almost word for word to Mike Reese, and I just didn't see much conviction in it. But he has to answer the questions, and every time he does an interview, he's going to get the same question. So he'll probably have the same exact answer, but does it really mean anything? We don't know. Real interesting article in the Times today on Devin Tompkins. Did you read that?
I did not.
Really good piece on Devin Tompkins. He is the speedster from Utah State, and his numbers, I mean, holy hell. At Utah State in 14 games last year, 102 catches for 1,704 yards. What? 1,704 yards and 10 touchdowns. I don't care what level you're playing at. That's a lot of production. He's 5'6" and 7'8", so 5'7", 155 pounds. But he elevates really, really well, goes up and gets the ball. The video I've seen, he's just so much faster than everybody else. Quick in and out of his breaks. It's interesting how Brady's going to be able to use him. Now, the big thing is when you're 155 pounds, and they say this guy is tough as nails, still at 155, that's tough. That's tough to survive in the NFL.
Yeah, history will tell us that you're not going to survive. But the thing he's got working for him, you just mentioned those numbers that are just outrageous. During rookie mini camp, I mean, there was a lot of good talent that the Bucs had in there. And who was the guy that Greg Auman kept telling us about?
Devin Tompkins.
Who was the guy that Scott Reynolds kept telling us about?
Devin Tompkins.
Who were the guy the coaches kept talking about?
Devin Tompkins.
That's a pretty good sign there.
Yeah.
That lends well. And I think the Bucs have a crowded little receiving court they've put together.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that, frankly, the fire is on them right now. Jalen Darden, who's another guy who's really small.
Yeah.
I mean, is Devin Tompkins, is he directly competing with Jalen Darden?
I would say, yeah. Both those guys don't make the team.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
But Jalen Darden, I heard, was doing well when they had the mini camp going on as well.
Yeah, they said he's kind of picked it up, was kind of lost his first year, but really picked it up. What's interesting about Devin Tompkins is he's mature beyond his years. He's got 2 kids. One of them is a Down syndrome child who he had to take care of his senior year. I mean, the story goes on and on, talking about him coming to meetings with his Down syndrome child, who he named Messiah, by the way, which is fantastic. And for what it's worth, they knew that he was a Down syndrome child before he was born. And they do these tests now in the embryonic fluid, and some people decide not to have the baby, and some people decide to. We won't make judgments on what is right and what is wrong, except to say, wow, when you make that commitment, and he has made this commitment, and try to play college football on scraps of money that you're given. And he did get some NIL money from a family that he's working with to do some videos. So he did get some NIL money, which is great. That's one of the great things about NIL. When you have a situation like this, when a guy's trying to support his family, he can now go out and do something and make money. How about that whole concept? That's fantastic. So, I mean, this is a story of a guy with just incredible character, great speed. I mean, this is not a charity case. This guy has ability. And if you're not rooting for Devin Tompkins, man, I don't know. This cat, he's got my vote, and I think everybody's going to be rooting for him. And that's not what it's about, but it's about production. But this kid has potential, I think, to be a game breaker.
Well, you want to root for guys like that.
Hell yeah.
It makes it easier to root for guys. And I think that based on the way the coaches have talked about him, based on the way people out there have talked about him, I think he's got a good shot. I think he's got a really good shot. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. Isn't that the theme?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we always go to
It does matter.
We always go to, well, money, it does matter in monetary, but
yeah.
I mean, Tom.
And it matters when you're making the team. I mean, how many times have we seen second to third round picks?
You're always going to get more opportunities.
Who are complete disappointments, make the team because you got to give them time.
Yes.
And then you just realize you screwed up your draft pick and you just got to let them go. It's better to cut them earlier than late, right? So we'll see. But he's certainly going to be a guy that they're talking about in camp, and he's going to get a chance to play in these preseason games. And my sense is he's going to shine big time. So he will make it. We'll be talking about him when we watch the preseason games. We'll be talking about him when we watch practices. So
as long as he's not playing with Ryan, is Ryan Griffin still on this roster?
He is still on this roster.
You're kidding me,
dude. The dude has made what 11. What did we counted up last year? Almost $10 million. He's been in the NFL for 10 seasons.
You know what? More
he's thrown
power,
like 12 passes.
More power to him.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is he just like the one guy? Like, how many coaching staffs has he made it through?
Oh, I think he goes back to Lovie Smith, maybe.
My gosh.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've never understood. Have you ever understood? I've never.
Yeah, well, listen, he's just a guy that
I guess you just need bodies back.
Yeah, he grasps the offense. He can, he's not going to embarrass you in a preseason game. If he has to come in and play, he can play.
Hey, Ryan Griffin to Tanner Hudson is maybe the best preseason combo that there's ever been.
I just love guys like that. Don Strock. Don Strock was the ultimate clipboard holder in Miami. I mean, and he had his moment in a playoff game, and damn if he didn't come through. I mean, it's just these career backup quarterbacks, I mean, are the greatest. That's the greatest gig ever.
I'm just thinking right now, like, I can't believe I'm talking this much about Ryan Griffin in the first segment, but I'm just thinking of like Hard Knocks right now, which I feel like was like a decade ago.
Oh God, yeah.
But Ryan Griffin was featured on that, was he not?
Well, yeah.
I know he was.
When Jameis was doing his little rhymes and they all had to repeat it.
You know what? Revisionist history. We should have known we were effed when the Bucs catered in. What do you call it? My goodness, brain fart. Help me out.
What?
Food trucks.
Food trucks.
When they catered in food trucks and Chris Baker was like licking his lips. We should have known right then and there.
The Chris Baker experience.
We should have known right then and there.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. So, Leah, I'm looking at Ryan Griffin's career. It goes back to 2009. Is that right? Oh, that was his college career. My bad.
Well, I think there's a few Ryan Griffins. Let's make sure we got the right one.
Oh, that's the right one there. That's the right one.
I see the alarm clock.
Yeah. I want to.
What's his Bucs tenure? It should say it right there.
He started with the Saints.
2015.
2015 was claimed off waivers.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So he's been here ever since. Re-signed March 31st. Buccaneers re-signed.
Four head coaches.
So he made his NFL debut starting his second half of the Buccaneers as Winston suffered a hand injury late in the second quarter. Griffin completed 2 of 4 passes for 18 yards on a 6-play drive that resulted in a Bradley Pinion punt. That's it. That's it.
Wait, which game was that again?
Week 14
of
the 2019 season against the Colts. He made his NFL debut starting the second half. At the Buc, yeah. Winston returned to the game on the next Buccaneers possession and finished the game, and they won. So he was part of a win. He came in relief and got the W.
I remember that game very well.
So he's been around since then, and has made. I think I saw last year was like $9 million total. Completed two 4 passes.
More power. Chase Daniels got the craziest one. Chase Daniels been in the league since like 2007 and has been a
I don't think
perennial.
it's that long.
No. It's been that long. Chase Daniel, I swear, has been in this league.
Who's the greatest, not even backup quarterback of all time? Because you could say Fitz. Fitz he's like a career, but he's done a lot of starting, so I wouldn't say he's a career backup. Who's the other? There's a couple of them. I mean, Sam Bradford hasn't been a backup, but he's made more money as being a mediocre quarterback than anybody in the history of the league. Yeah. That dude fleeced everybody. He's $150 million.
Enter any of the McCowns.
Any of the McCowns. Oh my God, the McCowns. That's a family industry.
14 teams.
That is a family industry. I mean, but money made per throw, per pass. Griffin's got to be up there.
Yeah, I got Chase Daniel. 2010, he goes back to.
Yeah.
He started 5 games in his entire NFL career.
Yeah.
8 touchdowns, 7 picks, and he just continues to make it. I think he's racked up literally over 30-something million in earnings.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Career.
That's impressive.
To throw, how many passes has he thrown? 261 career passes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good job.
That's good. That's good. Good production right there. Yeah, it's the best job in sports, no doubt about it.
Trump's bullpen catcher.
Which brings us to Jimmy Garoppolo. Big news on the Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't even think we talked about it because the story kind of popped up the week we were off, where people were talking about, the Bucs should go get Jimmy Garoppolo. He makes $25 million a year.
Yep.
How the F are we fitting that under the cap? And San Francisco's not picking up all of it. They're not doing that. Look, I mean, moving forward, is he better than Blaine Gabbert? Yeah. I mean,
that's disrespectful to even bring up. Jimmy G is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his winning percentage of over 70% is up there with the greats of the game. The greats of the game. They put up a graphic today about the quarterbacks that have won 70% of their games, and they're all Hall of Famers. And Lamar Jackson's also in there, who's active, obviously, but could be headed to the Hall of Fame as well with an MVP and whatnot. So, look, the dude can play, but why is it nobody wants him?
I can't figure it out for the life of me. I mean, I'm the biggest Jimmy G defender there is. The guy just wins football games.
Yeah,
and I don't care if you want to tell me that wins aren't a quarterback stat. I think in some respects they are, because they have so much impact on the game. They're touching the ball in every single
play.
And I just don't understand how you can say when Tom Brady wins, it's amazing. But when another quarterback that you just don't like wins, it's not a quarterback stat. I love how we always try to change the goalpost depending on who the player is.
Right.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, I just can't for the life of me. Last two seasons, he's been fully healthy. He went to a Super Bowl, and he got a quarter away from going to a Super Bowl. I understand the 49ers are a good team and all that, but look at Kyle Shanahan without Jimmy Garoppolo.
I know.
That's the damning thing to me.
And they're all in.
They're all in.
On Trey Young.
Or Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. They're all in on Trey Lance. And this guy, I mean, what has he shown?
I can't make sense of it.
No.
I think this is a blunder.
I do too. I think it's a tremendous blunder.
How do you go from being a quarter away to winning the Super Bowl to saying, nah, we're going to go with this guy who we don't really know, who, by the way, hasn't played a season of any football since 2019.
Right. And now people say, well, look at Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. I don't really see. I mean, and you can go back to his college career there. I don't think people were saying Patrick Mahomes was going to be an MVP in the NFL.
Patrick Mahomes was seen as a reach at 10.
Yeah, exactly. So, is Trey there as well? I don't know, but certainly he has a great physical ability, and the 49ers have seen a lot more of him than we have. So maybe they see Patrick Mahomes in Trey Lance.
But I feel like but Steve Young, I believe, was out there not too long ago, and he came back and reported this kid's still really raw.
Yeah, really raw.
And that's what I'm saying. And you listen to George Kittle talk about him. You listen to Deebo Samuel talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they just say they can't get over how much of a leader he is. And when he walks into that locker room, he has that locker room.
Right.
And I just don't understand for the life of me why you would break something like that up. And they literally decided they're trading him. It's just at this point, it's just
explain to me how Baker Mayfield gets the deal before Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, if you're the Panthers and you have the choice, now I know Garoppolo makes a little bit more money.
He's younger.
He's younger. He was the number 1 overall draft pick, but that,
Jimmy May has,
as compared to a guy who's got a 70% winning percentage. I mean, to me, that's a better resume than being the number 1 overall draft pick.
he's viewed as more flashy. I think the league is so
higher upside than Garoppolo.
The league is so based on your flashy quarterbacks, and that's great. I understand that's where the league's going, and it's highly entertaining. But I don't think we have to put all these quarterbacks who are stationary to the woodshed.
No,
I don't think we have to do that. And to me, that's where the league's going at the moment.
Well, look, Jimmy's a great athlete. He can run, he can do everything. But there's obviously some deficiencies there because it's not just the 49ers. I mean, you would think a guy with a 70% winning percentage, there would be teams knocking down the door to get him. It's not happening.
Here's the thing, though.
Why are the other teams not doing it?
The other thing, too, is the injury. He had the shoulder injury.
Yeah, not good timing.
Right throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
He's not even really going to be – he may or may not be ready to go at training camp, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's also a big thing as well.
That's been a big factor.
That's a risk. He's got a torn ACL on his record. He's not young. He's 30 now, which, I mean, for a quarterback, I guess you're halfway between your career at that point.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say he's a spring chicken by any means. And I just look around the league. I feel like you can make an argument like 24 to 25 teams. In fact, I had all the quarterbacks listed in my phone here. And because I ranked them recently for fun because I'm just weird like that. But you can make an argument, I'd say 24, 25 teams either have their guy, they have a solid, dependable guy, or they have a guy who is really young, who they view as the future or the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally probably around more than 3/4 of the league, I think, has that guy.
Yeah.
The guys that don't, I say that are up in the air, Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill, but they drafted their successors. Marcus Mariota drafted Ritter.
Yep.
Drew Lock, that's the one.
Yeah.
I think that's the one open. Trubisky in Pittsburgh, but they drafted Pickett.
Yep.
And then Daniel Jones. I think that's the only quarterback openings
rooms
that you could say are a little undecided. But
the Bucs are open too post this year.
But Jimmy Garoppolo to me is so much better than just being Tom Brady's backup.
but that's the other thing. You think Tom Brady's signing off on that?
No way. No, you think Jimmy Garoppolo is signing off? I mean, it's a trade, I guess.
Brady called him the MFer.
That MFer. That ain't happening.
You're sticking with that MFer? That was the funniest part of the whole thing. Is like, wait, what? You're going to put Jimmy Garoppolo in the same room like Tom Brady's signing off on that? No, Tom Brady ain't signing off on that.
We're not doing this again.
No, that is like never. It was laughable, but people were talking about it. They're talking about it on ESPN. I'm like, are you like open your eyes? There's nah.
What's the upside for the Bucs too? What's the upside for the Bucs? Jimmy Garoppolo, to me, as much as I love him, he's built to be on a ready-made roster to win. I don't know what the roster is going to look like after this year.
Well, look, when Brady leaves, you want to look at Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm open to that.
I know, I get that.
What are the options?
I have a feeling that the Bucs will probably want to go a little bit in a different direction.
Yeah.
Especially if Byron Leftwich is still the OC. Because again, what Jimmy Garoppolo's deficiency, I'm just being honest, he's not good at throwing down the field.
Yeah.
This offense is predicated on that. And I think that's, to me, it doesn't even make sense.
And that's why it's to some degree, and I think this is a big part of training camp, the development of Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
This is a season that he's hopefully going to get a lot of reps in the preseason, certainly in the preseason games, and he's got to show something. You spent a second-round pick on the guy. He's got all the tools. You look at the numbers from the SEC against the best competition. His numbers were every bit as good as Joe Burrow's. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow, but you got to give this guy a good look and see what he's all about. See what he's learned under Tom Brady. I think a lot of people are writing him off as, if he was that good, we'd know by now. No, everything's been about Tom Brady. The guy has not gotten a chance to really show anything, but he's working his ass off. We know that, and we will. We'll see. What does that say?
Oh, that's just a little note for you.
Oh, wow. So he doesn't have cancer. He has COVID. President Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. I thought he was vaccinated and boosted and everything else. But he said yesterday he has cancer. Like many others, and he blamed it on Delaware, his home state. I'm confused. There's a lot of confusion going on. So Well, so he's got COVID-19. Maybe that's why he wasn't shaking hands with everybody, just fist bumping. Huh. Interesting. What now? They're going to give him ivermectin? Or does he just have to take another booster shot to make him better? I don't know. We shall see. We wish him the best.
Where were you at with your comments?
Where were we?
I didn't even mean for you to say that. I'm just scrolling.
Well, it's time
here.
for a break.
I'm just scrolling here and I just happened to see it.
It's time for a break. Let's take a break. We'll get into that a little bit more. We're going to talk some college football. A lot of SEC media days, ACC media days, and there was something said by the ACC commissioner that may put him in line for a cabinet position in the Biden administration. We'll talk about that next. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing? Constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Sorry, just finishing up a tweet here, replying to the ridiculous tweet put out by our friends over at 620 WDA, which we're going to talk about right here. They really believe. So there was a chart that was put out about affordability of the prices of going to baseball games. As I remind you that the JP Peterson Show brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're looking for something new and shiny for your honey, or you want to maybe turn in some old watches you have or gold jewelry, take them in there. They'll give you the best price. And of course, it's a great local company. They've been doing business for decades here in the Tampa Bay area. So head on over there. You'll get the best price for your old gold jewelry. You'll get the best prices for the new stuff as well, because their selection is absolutely incredible. And they've got the best staff there as well. When you go in there, like most places you go into now, everything is like there's scant staff. You can hardly get anybody to help you. There's so many people working at the Gold and Diamond Source that you will never, ever have to wait to get some help. And they will show you exactly what you want. No high pressure sales. Tell them what your budget is, and they will hook you up. It's the best way to do business. It's like doing business with family, because they are family. It's the Weintraub family. Spoke with Julie just the other day about some great charity work they are doing. So head on over to the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at the goldanddiamondsource.com. So what were you showing me there?
Yeah, so somebody, Joe F. had mentioned in our chat here that they were doing a flash sale, the Rays, for tickets. And so I just went and looked, and it is indeed true. They just promoted it on Twitter for the next 48 hours, $15 for lower level tickets.
Yeah. See, we're making a difference.
So
we did it last year and we did it again this year. You're welcome. Yeah, see, it makes a difference when you speak up. The Rays listen sometimes, and that's good. A flash sale, $15 tickets, lower level for select games or whatever. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
I'm trying to see if there's
that's what we need.
See if there's like a little like infograph here where I can.
It's kind of weird how they just like, like the student special, it's like you got to get a link, and people are complaining about, they don't send you the link for a couple of days. But this flash sale, yeah, let's retweet that on the show Twitter.
Yeah, so this is for games between July 29th to August 25th.
Okay.
So that's the next time they come home, is July 29th against the Guardians. It's available through Saturday, July 23rd at 10 a.m. to sell. Use code FLASH to purchase. A limited of 6 tickets per account per game.
Yeah.
So
$15 lower level tickets.
$15 lower level tickets.
Nice.
So let me I'm trying to do the whole step-by-step process if I was buying it. So you put in your flash here.
Yeah.
On the offer code. Submit. All right, they all pop up here. I'd be interested to see, is there any premium games in this? See, there's always a caveat to this, right?
Yeah.
There's always a caveat. The deadline magically stops before they get the big boys coming in.
Yeah, okay.
But, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
So you get the Guardians, the Blue Jays, a good team, the Orioles, who have become a good team, the Royals, and I mean, you got a 4-game set against the Angels. What's the likelihood you get Shohei Ohtani in there?
Yeah.
So
that's not bad.
It's a lot of games. $15 lower level tickets.
Look, that's what we've been asking for. This is what every other team in the league is doing. This is not something special. Every other team in the league is doing it, and the Rays have not done it all year long. They haven't had family packs. They haven't had stuff like this. The cheapest ticket was just ridiculous for most games. You have a friend or AJ on Twitter went there the other day and went to walk up. $53 with fees was the cheapest ticket to get into a baseball game. A baseball game, folks. That's ridiculous.
And look at this. I pulled this was released 30 minutes ago. So I guess this went live just after 10. And I clicked on here the first game that it starts, which is against the Guardians on July 29th.
Yeah. The
entire lower bowl and second level tickets going all the way back to nearly the outfield are already all sold out.
Really?
So that's what I want to see. I love it when on the TV.
Well, and guess what? These are going to be Rays fans.
These are going to be Rays fans.
Rays fans, not Boston fans, not Cardinal fans.
This is
get your fans in the building.
Yeah. This is going to be really cool when you're seeing it on TV and seeing the whole entire lower bowl filled. That's what you want. That's what I want.
Yes. And guess what? We'll get more TV games at the Trop because the ESPN's not going to put on a stadium that's empty. It's bad for rating watch. So yeah, this is what we've been talking about. And thanks for the raise. But here's as DAE was talking about this morning. Good morning, John Mole. How are you? AJ writes this. Go figure. 95.3 WDAE is retweeting this as if it's fact when every single Rays fan knows it's not. Must be easy to say it's cheap to go to the Trop and that fans complain too much when you get sweet tickets for free, which is true, 100%. Look, this is this chart that was put out. Let me see if I can get the actual chart. It's laughable. Let me tell you what they say the Rays charge on a daily basis. And by the way, it's mentioned as sponsored content. No. So yeah, Mark J. Burns tweeted it out. I don't know who he is. He's got a blue check though. Who is he? Do you know? I don't know. It's from The Hustle. And they claim the Tampa Bay's Rays average ticket price is $24.13. How often have we looked on the ticket price? The lowest ticket price is never $24. Now that's the lowest ticket price. It says a beer is $5. No, that's
soda,
not true.
$5.
No, soda they cost it's $3.
No, I'm looking. Where are you reading?
Right here.
You must be reading the Marlins column. I'm reading the Rays
soda
column.
$5.
$5.
Yeah. $5 for hot dog. Wrong. And then they have parking is $12.50.
Where the hell are you paying $12.50 for parking?
Yeah. Not.
Even when that's when I said like yesterday, because I put it out there and I said obviously they're trying to account for not just the Rays parking lot, all the like the ones around, I guess.
No.
But like even then, are you paying $10?
Everybody went on this from every team in the nation that said, no, I go to the games all the time. These are not what the prices are. I mean, you may have a special, on Friday between 6 and 8, there's a $5 beer, but that's not all the time.
Yeah,
it's not even
Fridays,
most of the time. To get a decent beer in the Trop is $16.
Which,
we all know that.
I'm pretty sure I guess we're getting really specific here, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's Fridays where it's $5 beers, but isn't it just Budweiser?
Yeah, it's just Budweiser.
Which just happens to be like to me, that beer is so like
awful.
I think it's awful. Like who actually like it's not even like a light beer. It's just like, I don't know.
Better than Bud Light.
It's in like its own little category of beer. And it's like, I wouldn't buy that even just because it's $5.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. I just look, that chart is anybody who was in the real world and doesn't go to Suite and get tickets, who actually has to go out and buy tickets, knows that chart is completely inaccurate. Completely. Yet they're going to, the corporate media over there is going to put it up. The Rays station is going to put it up as you people are complaining too much. There's too much to go to a game. Actually, go on the website and look what the prices were, and they've brought them down because fans are bitching about it. And we're bitching about it, not you guys, but that's the way that's going to be, as I tweeted out. If you want to hear the truth, bring it over here because we go on the website all the time. We did last year, and the Rays responded finally with $10 tickets. And what happened? We filled up the place.
Yeah, and I like that.
And with the $15 flash sale, however many they make available, they're going to sell out.
Yeah.
So the point is, when you have reasonable prices, people go to the games. But we want, of course, bitch and tell all you people, all you little people that are being crushed by this 40% inflation. Whoever says it's 9.1% doesn't live in the real world. This ridiculous inflation, and you little people shut up and stop complaining about it, getting an outfield ticket for $57 after fees. Take your 4 kids to the game, spend $800 for a Wednesday night, and stop complaining. Shut up. Sincerely, WDAE, the Rays official station.
Lonnie Wilkins said this. Here's the catch. I'm coming from Illinois next week to go Saturday, and they're not letting me buy tickets since I have an out-of-state zip code, which I'm assuming – yeah, that's from Lonnie Wilkins here, loyal listener.
Oh, for the flash sale?
For the flash sale, which I think, like, kind of how we said, is probably being done.
I'm okay with that.
Stick with Rays fans.
I'm okay with that, Lonnie.
Guarantee that it's Rays fans in there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, Lonnie. Sorry, but now Lonnie is a Rays fan, I think.
Yes.
So that's kind of weird. If you're a Rays fan, you live in a different area, and you're making a trip all the way to the Trop, you want to buy these tickets. It's kind of unfair. That Lonnie, let's just call a friend who lives here. I'm sure you have one, and I'm sure they'll be happy to get you the $15 tickets. My goodness, come on. There are workarounds here.
Yeah.
They're not that hard to figure out.
I do like the timing of it, though. I'll tell you that, because you're coming off the All-Star break. The team's playing really good baseball. So I think, and the Lightning are done with. We still have a little window before we get to Bucs football, right? And college football, where that becomes number one again. So the Rays are the only show in town now.
Yeah.
The only show in town. And $15, you can't, to our lower level ticket, no matter where it is in that lower level, you can't really beat it.
That's fantastic.
So,
This is what we've been asking for forever. And guess what? The fans respond. If you make it a reasonable ticket, they will come to the games. If it's unreasonable, they won't. And that's exactly what's happened. And you put your team through a half a season of being subjected to nothing but the majority of the fans in the ballpark being the other team, because you've priced your fans out of the market. Now, finally, after everybody's has bitched them on and exposed you for doing it and not being a good corporate partner here locally, now, and that's, by the way, that's us at this station, at this show, and nobody else except the fans. Nobody else. No TV stations, no newspapers, certainly, and certainly not 620 WDAE. They're the ones that are telling you just shut up, stop complaining. Look at these fake numbers that this guy put up and go buy tickets. So, but hey, good on you. Thank you for finally listening to the fans and doing something for the fans. Wow. And we're supposed to say, "Ooh, good job." It's what they should have been doing from the very beginning. Like, you don't get an attaboy for finally doing the right thing. But I'm kind of giving you an attaboy. At least you finally did something. So
I will, because it's gonna look like I said, really.
There you go, Lonnie. Lonnie's like, I'm gonna charge the Cousins card.
Go.
That's what I'm talking about, Lonnie. It's
always
workaround.
a way. There's always a way.
Yeah, but I also like that policy.
I do too.
If you're gonna do the flash sale, then lock out as best you can. I mean, even Red Sox fans are smart enough to call their friend with the local ID and get the tickets. So, yeah. Well, it's not that hard to work around, but I appreciate the effort by the Rays. Look, we don't always bash the Rays just to bash the Rays, the front office, not the baseball team, obviously. And when they do something right, we say it. So we're not going to cover it up when they do it wrong. That's for damn sure. We're going to be the ones that are speaking out and be the avenue for change. So thank you for finally doing something, Rays.
I think I'm about to start buying my tickets here, because we got a short window here.
Yeah, you better get on it.
I got to figure out. I got to coordinate what I'm doing, where I'm going, who's pitching. I need to know.
That's a lot of research there. I don't think you can do that during the show, though. Casey will do it. Casey, she'll handle it.
Listen, they could be giving these things.
Who's pitching? Who's pitching?
Yeah, I want to know who's pitching.
TBA. That's who's pitching.
I can't do the whole.
It's the Rays, for God's sake.
I hate going to games when there's the bullpen day. I hate going to those games.
No,
I can't stand the constant just ringing of the bullpen. I can't do it.
I don't know how you're going to figure that out, except for the next week.
You want Casey to do research? I'm telling you right now, they could be giving these things for free, and she's not going. She'll go in the Rays club where she has an excuse not to look at the field or the game and do other things like drinking. But she's not going even if it's free. So if you think she's doing research on this, you're out of your mind.
No, I'm joking, of course.
No.
I will. Speaking of tickets, I want to get into this as well, because some Buck fans have been hitting me up. A lot of Buck fans were trying to get tickets for the game in Germany, and evidently there were 2 million people that were in the queue, and everybody got shut out for the most part. And evidently the Bucs offered some ticket packages a couple months ago when the game was first announced for like $400 to $700, and it was, you get transportation to the game. I think there might have been hotel or something, and that was the chance for season ticket holders to get tickets to the game. If you waited to do the ticket lottery, and already made your own, transportation and hotel reservations, you lost out. And now the scalpers prices, the secondary market, are like $500-$600 for the cheapest ticket in Allianz Stadium in Munich. So, that sucks. But that's business, and I hate to, because I know it kind of sounds like a double standard, but look, we're talking about 181 home games. Okay. We're talking about weekday games. as opposed to a one-off game in Munich, Germany, with Tom Brady going overseas. I mean, you knew that those tickets were going to be a huge cost. And when Brady's involved, it's a different deal. And I understand that the Bucs, look, if you want to pay for the tickets, if you want to go with the Bucs official party and season tickets, it's going to cost you, I think it was $400 to $700 for those packages. And the face value of the tickets, I think, was $150. So, I mean, it's a bit of a premium, no doubt about it. But for an international game like that, that's what it's going to cost you. I mean,
I'm in the camp of like,
I would like it all to be, cheap for everybody, but that's not the way the world works.
That's not the way it works. People just have to
supply and demand.
It's not the way that works.
Supply, but what the Rays were doing was ridiculous. That's a totally different category, in my opinion.
I guess the whole thing with Munich, like, would it be cool to go over there and see that? Sure. But like, what if I buy my ticket and I spend, that exorbitant amount on it, and Tom Brady breaks his clavicle week 4,
yeah.
or even worse, leading up to the game?
That's the chance you take.
Do I want to be in Munich for that now?
No,
I don't. Knock on wood, by the way, that he's not breaking any clavicles now.
Yeah,
because I might have just put bad will on him.
It doesn't work that way.
I don't think it works that way either.
But traveling all that way. If you're planning on going, you want to go to Europe and you want to go see some things in Germany.
You better be doing other things.
Yeah.
If you're going there literally for
just for a football game,
3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the same
when
to
you
me.
Can, drive down the street.
I don't think it's going to be nearly the same excitement level, by the way.
No, it's going to be that same murmur in the crowd.
Yeah.
90% of the people have no idea what's going on. It's not, it's not like going to a bowl game in a different city. Yeah.
I don't know about the German football crowd, but like, I think the English crowd, they've been going there since 07.
And they're still clueless. No, they're still clueless.
Some of them I think have caught on at this point.
Some, but a
Germany,
small minority. No, it's going to be weird.
When is this game again?
November.
Oh, they're worrying about freaking Bayern Munich at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. But listen, 2 million people got in the queue, and most of those are scalpers. Let's just be honest. Just people trying to make money on it. So I'm sorry for Buck fans that got screwed in that way, but it's just when you're up against a premium event, it's almost like saying, "Hey, man, the Super Bowl tickets are too high." Well,
but here's my question.
This is what it is,
and I guess this is a question for older Bucs fans. Like my dad used to mention to me all the time, there used to be like a huge wait list to go to any Bucs game back in the day when they were rocking and rolling.
Yeah, there was a supposed season ticket wait list of like 100,000 because you didn't have to put any money up to do it.
So I'm like, were people like complaining left and right then? Or is this like a new thing now with people that just aren't used to this? Because before, obviously, for the last 15 years, you were able to walk up to the box office and get a great seat the day of. You can't do that anymore.
And when they were going to, London with Jameis Winston and that team, it was easy to get tickets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's Tom Brady. It's a premium. It's an international game. I'm sorry that you couldn't get face value tickets, but
I don't know how you were expecting to get face value tickets for that game.
I don't either. I think that's a little bit sorry, my man Thomas A. Casper Jr. But I think a lot of these Buck fans were proactive and they're like, I'm not going to pay the package price when I can go get the game ticket and get my own accommodations and everything cheaper. And I get that. But what you didn't count on was getting, locked out of the lottery of tickets. So now you got to pay a premium for the ticket on the secondary market. Again, this is a one-off, kind of international event with Tom Brady. You're going to have to pay a premium. You're not, to expect to get a face value ticket for that, I just think is unrealistic.
Listen, I promise you, I guarantee it, actually. Spending close to $1,000 on a ticket to sit all the way at the top of, Alliance Arena or Stadium, whatever. Allianz.
Yeah.
Spending $1,000 to sit all the way at the top.
No, thank you. Come on.
You will have a much better time sitting on your little couch, watching on your 70-inch flat screen.
Yeah. About
10 feet away from it.
Yeah.
I promise you'll enjoy it much better for free.
Yeah. This is from Justinville, 2882. You just covered what I was going to say. Exactly. DAE this morning cited $5 beer on every Friday as if it's a great deal, and people who don't know about it or appreciate it are at fault. Come on. I mean, you're not being honest with people. You want to cherry pick couple things that they've done here. Go look at the vast amount of things that every other team in this league does. They still don't do the family packs. They still don't do the all-inclusive monthly memberships. They had some of these things on the board, but they don't do them anymore. Why is that? And for the entire first half of the season, they've been pricing their fans out of the market. Have you said anything about that? No, you haven't. You're just completely out of touch with what's actually going on, or more than that, just covering it up. So it is what it is. And that's the difference between corporate media and what we do here. I'm trying to find a couple other tweets on this particular subject, but but even this flash sale, it just kind of snuck up on everybody, right? Why not make a big deal about that? Why not announce that on one of the game broadcasts? It just like kind of popped up on social media, right?
As far as I know, I mean, obviously this came out when we were doing the show, so I have no idea where it first originated.
Right.
But it is up on the website. It is up on.
You think they would have alert their official station?
Did we get an email? Maybe? Yes, we did. I got an email at 10:13 about it.
Okay, because you're on the Rays buy tickets list.
The email list, yes.
Yeah, so they sent out an email to people who
but
buy
then again,
tickets.
like, where are you going to advertise it at? There's no games going on. But it kind of, you
can still advertise it. It just didn't come up yesterday. I mean, did they just say yesterday we're going to do this? Has this not been? Is this not a marketing plan that they've been thinking about? Why not, make a roll it out, make a big announcement on it?
Like I said, beggars can't be choosers.
All right, we'll take it for what it's worth. And that's fantastic. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Greg Allman's going to join us as we get set to see the rookies report on Saturday to One Buck Place over there, the Advent Health, whatever they're calling it these days. One Buck Place, where they train. So we'll chat with Greg Allman about the signing of Kyle Rudolph, what that means in terms of Gronk, and the Devin Tompkins factor. Stay with us. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his team over there will take great care of you. So if you're looking for testosterone replacement, trying to lose weight, get your immune system up, they are the place to go. BAMMC.com. All right, I want to welcome in our good friend Greg Auman from The Athletic, covering the Bucs as the rookies report on Saturday. Wow, it is on. Greg, how are you this morning?
Hey, doing well, JP. Thanks for having me on. Hope you're doing well, too.
Yes, absolutely. Kyle Rudolph signs 1-year deal. Have you gotten the numbers yet on this deal?
I have not. I think it's going to be a fairly modest deal.
Yeah.
I would think it's, I'm guessing like $2.5 million, something like that. Maybe some incentives on top of that. He played, I think his last deal was $5 or $6 million, but it's late July, kind of limited market. So I think there shouldn't be any kind of real huge contract to worry about.
So the question meaning, does that leave room open to still sign one Rob Gronkowski? And I think the answer to that would be yes, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bucs can always make things work with Gronk. I mean,
Right.
Last year Gronk only counted like $3 million against the cap, so they've. I mean, it's something they could add him. And depending on when they added him, they could certainly. I mean, obviously, if he's not playing a full season, he's not going to make as much. The flexibility to sign Gronk is not going to be a financial issue. They'll make it work.
Yeah, and I'm sure you saw the latest denial from him on Good Morning America. I still can't buy it, partner. I'm more inclined to believe the girl that he's sleeping with when she says him and Tom Brady are just fooling around. Does that make me crazy? I think that might be a better source.
The guy's unretired once already. So
Right.
Once you've come out of retirement once, it's okay to not take him too seriously when he says he's done. So I mean, I think it's one of those where, I mean, it sounds like he's out right now. Again, he's done this once before, but I don't know how he's going to feel in September. If he sees Brady throwing touchdowns to other guys and he's not playing and he's at home,
Right.
that could make him want to come back. It could be that he's good and has lots of other things to occupy his time. So part of it is, to me, it's like, do they need him? Are they playing well without him? If they take an injury, if they lose somebody big, maybe that's a game changer. And if Brady calls and says, hey, we lost so-and-so, we really need another target, maybe that carries more weight. But right now, I think it's fair to kind of move forward. And if he comes back, it's a pleasant surprise, that kind of thing.
Greg, I always knew that Gronk was a key piece to the puzzle. But when you look at the numbers, it's staggering how much better Brady is when Gronk is on the field and when he's not. I saw another number this morning that since coming to the Bucs, Brady has 48 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the red zone with Gronk on the field. Like, that's a ridiculous number right there. So if he doesn't play, this is a huge hit to the Bucs offense, is it not?
I don't know if it's a huge hit. I mean, they had 6 games without him, this past season,
Right.
and had him in a limited capacity for other games. So no, obviously, he's Brady's all-time favorite target. The guy he's connected with the most. You're talking about more than 100 touchdowns between the two of them. So from a comfort level, from a trust factor, nobody that the drop-off is going to be considerable to anybody else, and even the Evans and Godwin and Fournette and guys to pick up the slack at other positions. So no, it's a big one, but I also think it's one that Brady has kind of known was a possibility and has dealt with one time before as well.
Yeah, that's true. And let's zero in on Kyle Rudolph, 33 years old. I believe I think you posted this, that Pro Football Focus had him listed as the 35th best tight end last year. 26 catches. I mean, obviously he's not the Pro Bowler he once was, but he's certainly not a bum either. I mean, he still has something left in the tank.
Oh no, I think so. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, the last 2 years he's only had 2 touchdowns total, but he's also I mean, last year, not playing in a very good passing offense at all. Was dealing with injuries last year.
Right.
You go back, 15 to 19, he has 30 touchdowns in a 5-year span. So no, I don't think he needs to be a 50 catch, 800 yard, 8 touchdown tight end. If he just has, 35 catches, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, if Braid gives you the same, you've basically, gotten a decent amount of Gronk's production out of the way. I think it's one of those where this gives them another guy in that room that's done it before that Brady can trust. You don't really want to lean on these rookies too much.
Right,
tight end is
right.
not a position where rookies make a big impact. You already have Cade Otton coming off an ankle injury where he didn't have the normal spring and summer reps to get used to things. So this way, there's not a lot of pressure on Otton and on O'Keefe. They can kind of be rookies, and if they end up playing 400 snaps, that's great. If they play 200 snaps, that's fine. They've got one more. If this was baseball, you'd say an innings eater. This is a guy that can be your number 4 starter, and it's not going to win 20 games, but if he goes 12-8 and helps you get through the season, he's done his job. And
he's big enough to add to the blocking equation here, right? I think we all know that Cam Braid's not that
20 pounds bigger than Bright. I mean,
right,
265.
Yeah.
Braid's 245 and might play lighter than that. So no, I mean, again, anybody's going to be a drop off from Gronk, but I think he's a guy that can play a lot. You're also replacing like 400 snaps of OJ Howard in this equation. So
that's right.
In theory, should be playing at a higher level than OJ was in that role.
Any word on the 2 young tight ends, what they've seen from them, O'Keefe and the other name escapes me right now.
Yeah, Cade Otton is the 4th rounder. I mean, Cade, the same ankle injury that ended his season early kept him from doing anything on the field in OTAs in minicamp. So he hasn't practiced at all. He has gotten the green light. He'll be fine next week to start practicing and go from there. Has kind of been watching and learning. They love Cade Otton. I mean, I think he's a guy who can be a blocker and a catcher. O'Keefe, the 6th rounder, is probably more of a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
I think he had 12 catches in his entire college career. Great guy, special teamer, will be a fan favorite here, but it's more of a block first type, kind of like Auclair was for a couple of years there that the Bucs had. It's not a given that they'll carry 4 tight ends. So Keefe is on the bubble a little bit. But I think, without Gronk, there's probably, a greater need to carry some depth in that you don't have one guy who can take, 75% of the snaps for you or anything like that. So be fun to watch, but they like those 2. You've got Cody McElroy, you've got JJ Howland, you got some other guys that are, competing for spots, but it's probably the 2 draft picks and Braid and Rudolph.
Greg Ahmed joining us here from The Athletic, talking some Bucs training camp. Gets started on Saturday as rookies report. And another young man to watch, and you've written about him, Devin Tompkins from Utah State, 5'6" and 7/8. We'll call it 5'7", 155 pounds, but made 102 catches for 1,704 yards and 10 touchdowns at Utah State, which had an unbelievable season for them and a great explosive offense. And this guy really opened some eyes. Is he really at 155? Can he be a player in this league?
I think 155 is what Utah State listed him at. I think his combine weight was like 167, and he's probably in the low 170s, which is still tiny.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen an NFL player listed at 155 before.
Never.
Usually, if you're that small, they're kind of nice, and they go, "We're going to write down 175." All right, don't go across the middle, that kind of thing. But no, it's I think he was every bit the same height and weight in college, and like you said, had 100 catches, at 1,700 yards, and really a playmaker. I mean, they've got basically 3 of these tiny speed receivers in Jalen Darden from last year, who's 5'8", in the guy you just mentioned, Devin Tompkins, and the other guy is this Jarrett Stearns, who's from Western Kentucky. He had 150 catches last year, which is even crazier. But they're all 3 5'8" or shorter. So,
right.
I mean, in theory, you carry one of those guys, but probably not more than one. But it'll definitely be a deep threat and a speed complement to Evans and Godwin and Gage and everybody else on the receiving corps.
Yeah, Cyril Grayson's kind of in that group as well, right?
Right. He's not as tiny, but I mean, obviously he's a track guy, so he's a deep speed guy. Yeah, I mean, in theory, Grayson and another one could both stick. Grayson's a little bit more all-around receiver, not just a speed guy, But for me, I mean, 4 through about 10, I mean, obviously we know Evans and Godwin and Gage are the top 3, but then you've got Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller and Jalen Darden and Cyril Grayson and Rashad Perriman and these rookies, and only really 3 of them should be sticking.
That's right.
So you'll have, 2 or 3 others that are either going to get gobbled up and play for other NFL teams or really give you some good depth on the practice squad.
Interesting stuff. Now, I got to ask you about, did you get a chance to read the Brady interview in Variety?
I did. Not all of it, but kind of the most of it.
Yeah. And like when I read those quotes, and this is just, the conspiracy theory in me, it kind of pointed to me to like what at least I understand this whole offseason to be about, is that he was looking to go someplace else. And the way the Bucs played it out, basically leaving the door open for him and saying, we're not moving on. And by the time free agency hit and he knew if he was coming back to play, he had to play for the Buccaneers. And if he wanted to play for the Bucs, he had to let them know to get everybody else back as well, which they all did. And that just cemented that for me with those quotes about, I wanted to come back in July. I was kind of forced to make decisions here and there. Is that your take of what happened? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that was kind of mine.
No, I didn't read that at all. I think it's the nature of the NFL offseason, and that if you wait till July, like he said, not only are they probably going to have another answer at quarterback,
right.
But Ryan Jensen might be signing somewhere else.
Exactly.
All these other free agents they had, if you don't have the allure of coming back and playing with Tom Brady, maybe money is more of a factor, and maybe you go to another team that you think has a better chance at a championship or something. So I just think he could have come back to not a shell of the team, but to 80% of the team that he had in March. So I just think it's one of those where logistically, if you're going to come back, you got to do it, before the house is sold
exactly.
and before the family moves, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. He's playing for the Bucs this year. He ain't playing for the Dolphins, so he's suiting up for the Bucs, and that's the only thing that matters. I just thought that some of that was very interesting. And as you head into covering this team this year, and with a new, it's almost weird. It's like I don't even feel like there was a coaching change because everything is kind of stayed so consistent. So it's like you have a coaching change, but do you really have a coaching change, right? It just seems everything, the continuity, it just kind of continues. And I think that's the most important part about this transition to Todd Bowles, right?
Yeah, I think that's by design. It's about as seamless a transition as you can have, where, Arians is still kind of there with some input. Bowles is still running the defense as he did. Leftwich is still calling the offense as he did. So this shouldn't be, and I think there's some personality quirks and some adjustments with Bowles as your head coach. But this should look like very much the same team. I think we'll see some tweaks here and there, but it should be basically the same scheme on defense. It should be, I guess Arians probably has a little less influence offensively, but this was Byron Leftwich's play calling and general offense before, So I think it's very much, it would be like, I would say like a 2.1 version rather than, this is year 3 with Brady, but it'll look a lot like year 2 in terms of personnel and feel and scheme and everything.
Well, Greg, we always ask about who's going to be the surprise player of we always look to, kind of rookies and new guys, but there's usually you're going to see guys that have been on this roster that maybe take a more prominent role that are actually the more, I won't say surprises, but they're new guys that are going to be playing a lot more snaps. I put Joe Tryon in that, Anthony Nelson in that. What type of guys like that that have kind of been around that may make more of an impact this year in your estimation?
Mike Edwards is a guy who has been a non-starter. He's been a bench guy and has made a lot of plays in a short amount of snaps. He could very well be a starter now. We don't really know necessarily. There's about 5 DBs, 6 DBs for 4 or 5 spots. So we don't know how Keanu Neal fits in. We don't know how Logan Ryan fits in. But Mike Edwards is definitely going to have at least a shot to be, a primary safety, a guy that lines up opposite Antoine. Antoine Winfield's probably not coming off the field. But, if Edwards can kind of take on that Whitehead snap count as a 75% safety, Neal's going to be a guy I think they use in a bunch of different looks, but probably not an every down safety. And then Logan Ryan, is probably a guy who either competes for the nickel or comes off the bench when you need a spell. So Mike Edwards is definitely somebody who's in a contract year and can go very quickly from a guy who's barely started at all to a guy who's, all of a sudden a starting safety and potentially a playmaker who could get a lot of money a year from now in free agency.
And as I look at this quarterback room, I don't see any. There have been rumors out there that the Bucs will be looking at Garoppolo. I don't see that in any way, shape, or form. Do you? I certainly don't think Tom Brady's signing off on that. him coming into the
No,
room.
I mean, and if whether it's some kind of brokered trade through the Niners, he's not going to play for $24 million this year.
Right.
I mean, I think everybody knows that. I think Garoppolo knows that. So the idea that he's looking for a trade just means that if there's a team that wants to get ahead of free agency and throw the Niners, a 7th round pick in 2024 for the right to negotiate a 1-year, $10 million deal with Garoppolo, that's all this is going to be.
Right.
It would surprise me if the Bucs, either in trade or in free agency, can convince Jimmy G to come here as a backup when he's got starting opportunities in Seattle or a better chance to start with the Giants or, any of these other teams that don't necessarily have a starting quarterback locked in. So for Garoppolo to come here, I mean, he would need Brady to get hurt for him to have any meaningful snaps. He's been that before, and that's not going to do anything to help him as a free agent a year from now. So I really think it's much more likely he goes to Seattle or he goes to the Giants or goes to a team that needs and is willing to pay for a guy who might be a starter and not just a slight upgrade, a contingency plan if your starter went down.
Hey, Greg, since you covered the Bolts in the playoffs, so you saw what they were able to do to continue to solidify this core with, signing Sergachev and Sorelli and those guys to long-term deals, Chernak as well. This team is set for years and years to come. Your thoughts on what they were able to do? The guys they were keeping, obviously, Palat leaving is a big kind of shock to the system. But I think Julien Brisebois did as much as he possibly could to keep this core together. I think it was a hell of a job of what they have going forward. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think every couple of years now we've said, this is the last year the nucleus is really going to be together. And these guys, a lot like the Rays, are really good about knowing when to step away from players. I think Tyler Johnson was so central here, and barely was a factor. I mean, he left and he barely knew he was gone. So no, to have those young guys, 8 years is a considerable commitment to make, to have these guys until they're 32, 33 years old. But that's 3 huge players. I mean, in Sergachev, obviously he's a guy that, obviously Hedman is the best defenseman here and gets that, but especially with McDonough now gone, that kind of secures him being in a position to step up and be another elite defenseman here. I think to look at the young talent team, Sorelli, continues to absolutely steal the show sometimes, just making plays. And he's a guy I think will only continue to grow. We don't know who he's going to be in his 30s, but I think it's exciting for fans to know that these guys are here, especially the next 4 or 5 years, and kind of keep this group together to try and make the same kind of runs they've been making.
He's Greg Auman at Greg Auman, GregAuman on Twitter. You can find him there and all the great stuff in The Athletic. And The Athletic running any specials. Nick and I are loyal subscribers. We love your stuff. We'd like some more. Are you guys going to get a dedicated Rays writer? Do you have one? I know you used to have
I
one.
don't know that we will right now. They went to the World Series and didn't get one. So no,
Yeah.
I think it's just unfortunate there's some markets where
the
return in the fan base and the number of subscriptions that are yielded from a team just aren't enough in the higher up mind to justify having a full-time writer. Unfortunately, it's not just the Rays. In the state of Florida, it's Marlins, it's Panthers, it's Jaguars, it's Magic. There were probably 11 writers in the state of Florida when I came on, and there's not nearly that now.
Yeah. Well, you guys do an awesome job. I read it every morning, so much appreciate your coverage, and obviously Joe Smith as well. So appreciate you, Greg. And we'll chat with you down the line. See you out of camp.
All right, man. Thanks again. Have a good one.
Great, Greg Auman right there. We need the Rays. They need another writer over there. We need some balance.
Well, it sounds like we got to get more Rays fans to subscribe.
That's right.
To show them. So, I wonder, the numbers have to be really high for Greg's stuff and Joe's stuff.
Oh, through the roof.
So, theoretically, you'd like to think that those people would read Rays stuff too. I don't know.
I would think. But, it's a big expense.
Yes,
Hire another writer. Nick's available. If you want to do it, I'm available.
I wouldn't trust you to write a single thing. A single thing.
You don't think I'd be a good Rays beat reporter?
No.
You think they wouldn't welcome me with open arms into the clubhouse?
No. You'd probably be the first reporter to be at a major publication to be barred from entering the confines of what your beat is.
And why would that be?
You know what you'd be doing?
I don't speak.
Every Rays game, you'd be hanging out with Bucket Drummer, listening to it on the radio and trying to tweet with your big thumbs what's going on.
Nah, I'd probably
you.
just be with my feet up in the press box. Is Stu around? Can I get an audience with Stu? Can I get a one-on-one with Stu? No, it's not working. Oh, people would read it though. It would be good. Definitely be a different perspective, no doubt about that. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football. Major changes in Miami. The Hurricanes are dropping a staple of their program, and I just wonder what the fan base is going to do about this. We'll see if Miami fans are on board with this. We'll talk about it next. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
They're moving the needle at Live Golf. Jason Kokrak. Who doesn't want to sign? I'm marking my calendar for Saturday morning or afternoon at 2 o'clock to watch Jason Kokrak and Pat Perez tee off in the 40-54 hole Live Golf. whatever the hell it is. God, I have less than zero interest.
The only thing that was moving the needle for Live Golf right now is this, which just came out from Andrew Marsh on the New York Post. He spoke with Charles Barkley, who said that he is going to play in the next Live event during the Pro-Am portion and expects an official offer soon to join the Saudi-led golf league.
As a commentator. Charles Barkley on golf. I'll listen to Charles talk about anything, but he listened to him consistently talk about golf? No.
Oh, I would.
Like a one-off?
If I was going to tune in to watch this going forward, Charles Barkley is
It's a
my
clown
draw.
show, so it might as well have put Barkley and Faraday in the booth.
I'm not saying it's a great sign that Barkley is my draw here, but I'm just saying I think that's your main draw.
It's a clown show. It's a clown show if you add Barkley.
Is it?
Yes.
I think that's a great move.
No, it's not. He's going to talk about golf. Did you hear him when he was doing the Brady thing?
I listened to him talk about hockey during the Cup final, and I thoroughly enjoyed
as a
it.
one-off, it's fine. We love it.
I could do it
every
night.
week.
Every week.
Well, 12 weeks, whatever, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And you're telling me he's going to retire from TNT to do this?
Mm.
Well, they're probably paying him.
He's
right now, to TNT,
right now
so he's like, well,
he's under contract.
I'll have more time off, and I have to do 12 events. Yeah, what the hell? Why not?
3 years and $30 million is his current contract.
So Live Golf is going to steal my NBA on TNT.
That's the worst thing. That's great.
So now they're screwing up my PGA Tour, these Saudis, and they're screwing up now they're going to screw up the only thing that I like about the NBA, Shaq and Charles and Ernie and Kenny. I mean, this, like, if they're sports washing and trying to get people to love them in Saudi Arabia, I think you're going about it the wrong way.
This is going to be
pissing me off even more.
I think this is going to be must watch this next event, though.
What's the next thing they go after? Baseball? F1? I mean, what else are they going to screw up?
It's a little different. But this is going to be interesting because this next event is at the Trump Bedminster.
Oh gosh!
And Trump
now we got Trump and Barkley and Faraday and DJ
Norman
and DeChambeau.
The corruption is just coming out of that place.
And this is supposed to be like something for the people. Like this
is Trump's statement, by the way. He put a statement out. If you'd like me to read this whole little
sure,
spiel.
Why not? Then we'll get to college football.
All of those golfers that remain quote unquote loyal to the very disloyal PGA in all of its different forms will pay a big price when the inevitable merger when Live comes, and you get nothing but a big thank you from the PGA officials who are making millions of dollars a year. Trump wrote on Truth Social Monday. That's a thing, I guess. If you don't take the money now, you will get nothing after the merger takes place, and they only say how smart the original signings were.
So Trump's playing this card that if you don't go with the Live now, you're going to miss out when the two leagues merge. So Rory and Justin Thomas and Spieth are not going to be welcome on this new PGA Live Tour. What the F are you talking about, Trump? Shut the F up.
It's so funny. Like, how did you know that this man was going to somehow be involved in this?
Oh my God.
Jeez.
It
does not mix. It does not mix.
I'm a supporter of a lot of Trump policies, but this part of the Trump, no, thank you.
I'm never a supporter of politicians in sports. I don't care who you are.
No, I don't want politics in my sports.
And that, to me, with that. If you want me to turn against Live, that's the way to do it.
Well, there you go. They're out now. Now are you out? They've screwed up your TNT on NBA on TNT.
And that's the only thing about the NBA that I actually. Tour. That's the only about the NBA that's really worth watching.
Your boys involved. Yeah. Nothing more I want to support than Saudi sheiks and Donald Trump in a money grab to screw up the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
And Trump's pissed off at the PGA Tour, and rightfully so, because they ripped the tournament away from him and gave it to Mexico, which was stupid.
This is him going after the NFL just 40 years in advance.
Exactly.
So if that happens, I got no time for it then I got no time for it.
It's happening. You just read the statement.
I got no time for it.
He's knee deep in it now.
But why would Barkley get into that, though?
Barkley's a money guy, too.
I understand he's a money guy, but you're Charles Barkley.
Barkley has always been a man of the people and always spoke his mind and always been, but the kind of money that these people are throwing out, You have to be really, really big time stuck to your principles. And again, Barkley doesn't need money, does he?
No.
Maybe some of these guys gamble so much that they got to have more money to gamble. I don't know. Wow.
Not a fan.
All right, let's talk some college football. So this came across the other day, and it was kind of shocking. And Mario Cristobal was just on ESPN, and I didn't get to hear what he said, but they're going away from the turnover chain. The turnover chain is no longer part of the Miami culture. When I thought it was like all about the Miami culture, I don't know how the players are gonna. I don't know if the players and the fans are going to be on board with this. I mean, they love them some Mario Cristobal. Don't get me wrong. And I, if I'm Mario Cristobal, probably would be doing the same thing, but not part of the culture moving forward. I think that might piss off a lot of people.
Well, it's a goofy thing that they've started doing. They don't win it. You're not winning.
Everybody's got one now,
and I hate it. The turnover backpack that FSU had.
No, it was a turnover. Wasn't it like a Gucci or some stupid ass designer backpack? That was when I saw that, I said, my God, this is the worst effing idea I've ever seen in my life.
And they broke it out in the middle of that game against Samford where they almost lost.
They almost lost.
I mean, optics people.
Would have lost.
Optics people.
Yeah.
But anyway, Miami doing away with the turnover chain. I got to tell you, I mean, just from the outside looking in, I think if I'm Miami, I need to get far, far away from that thing. I do need
That's
to get
the most
far,
Miami
far
thing ever.
Sure it is. But were there turnover chains back in the 90s, in the 80s when things were rocking there?
No,
there wasn't.
They just had the regular chains that they were given by
perhaps. What's his face? Luther.
Yeah, Luther Campbell.
Luther Campbell.
Hey, but with the NIL, I thought they would get an NIL deal with a local jeweler and have them for everybody. No. I thought they'd go the other way.
I could just tell by the way Mario Cristobal carries himself. He wants to make it more
professional.
He wants to professionalize it, clean it up a little
things
bit.
Up. Yeah.
Tight ship. And I think he's the man. If he can't be the one that turns around Miami, I'm under the impression that it never will.
Can't be done.
It can't be done. And I feel like he's already doing great things. They're killing it on the recruiting trail. I told you last week, I think they're starting to put that old line back in the sand of everything in the South or whatever is ours. I think they're starting to get there. I'm impressed every time he talks about the program. And he obviously was there for 4 years. He won national championships. He knows what it takes. So I think they're on the right track, honestly. And I think getting rid of this turnover chain where it just made Miami a laughing stock, especially last year in that first game against Bama, you getting the brakes beat off you and you're taking out turnover chains.
Yeah.
It just always felt like that was like their main goal was to get that damn turnover chain out.
Yeah. Yeah. Really kind of silly. But listen, Cristobal's doing big things down there, but I still say without an on-campus stadium or a stadium of their own, and I think, Dan Radakovich, if anybody can get it done, their new AD, he's the best in the business. They can get it done. And I don't see where they're going in terms of expansion. What are you owing about?
Well, I just saw Kirby Smart just got a fat deal to be with Georgia for the foreseeable future.
PHAT?
Fat with a P. I think I had the numbers here. It's 10-year deal worth $112.5 million.
Guaranteed?
It doesn't specify here, but I think that makes him right under Saban.
$11 million a year.
$11.25 million a year. For
wow.
Kirby Smart.
For a college football coach.
Hey, that's the going rate now. Remember,
there was a lot of guys that got these big ones. Can't afford to pay the players. Can't afford to pay them. Yeah.
Although he was bragging yesterday that Jordan Davis was like the highest paid NIL player last year. And he's like, we got the highest paid tight end right now with Brock Bowers. And I appreciate that.
He's being honest.
Come out and just say it.
Yeah.
Like, why
Jimbo's all like, oh, no, we're not paying our players. We didn't pay to get our recruiting class. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Well, maybe you didn't, but your NIL did. Same thing. Yes, thank you, Kirby Smart from Transfer. And you know what? That's smart. The players are hearing this. Oh, Georgia's got the highest pay. Well, I want to go play in Georgia. Smart.
Yeah, and that word's going to start traveling. And I mean, why would you not want that? It's a benefit. That's what I'm saying. Get with the program. Or get out. And that's the same thing when I hear Dabo Sweeney talk about NIL. I'm like, oh, please. just get off my screen, Dabo.
Yeah. And then we have the clueless new commissioner of the ACC, Jim Phillips, who said yesterday college sports is, quote, not the NFL or NBA light, and thinks coexistence between the power conferences is not just possible, but ideal for everyone involved. Quote, I will continue to do what's in the best interest of the ACC, but will also strongly advocate for college athletics to be a healthy neighborhood, not a 2 or 3 gated communities, Phillips said. Resources may be different, but access, education, and competitive opportunity will remain the foundation going forward. That's kind of denying the reality of where everything's heading, to be quite honest. People talk about Oklahoma and Texas leaving immediately. I think that's pretty well stated now that that's not the case, Phillips said. Listening to UCLA and USC at the end of June, they clearly are going to stay in the Pac-12 until their grant of rights is over. I would think that the significance of what that would mean, the television rights and the conference owns, as well as a 9-figure financial penalty, I think it holds, but your guess is as good as mine. So he's talking about FSU and Clemson and Miami leaving, and this is what they're going to have to pay, which is up for, obviously, lawyers to go through. So he's concentrating on getting the ACC more, quote, competitive. Last year, the ACC paid each team $36 million. The SEC paid their teams $54.6 million. The Big Ten paid their teams $47.9 million. So in a world where NIL is a real thing and money coming into the teams is a big thing. And you could say, well, that money doesn't go to NIL. Well, it can, in the way that, you also get money from the booster club, right? The boosters, Seminole Boosters, whatever your booster organization with pays the coaches, pays for a lot of different grading facilities, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a balance between private donations that come into the football program and, of course, the money that you actually get from your TV contracts. So all that money is eventually commingled anyway. So the teams that are spending or getting more money, they can spend it on facilities, they can spend it on coaching staffs, they can spend it on whatever it is. And then that other booster money can be funneled into the NIL, where it used to be funneled into the programs to pay for those facilities. So it all comes into one bucket, folks, is what I'm saying. So when you're talking about, technically that's not quite NIL money, but it can be, like I said, the booster money can just be funneled over to the NIL because it's not needed anymore in these other places. So that gives the SEC $20 million more a year than the ACC teams, and that's a huge advantage. And that disparity is only going to go up more when Texas and Oklahoma come into the SEC. So for Jim Phillips to sit there and start and keep talking about the old college, sports model and how that's what we're looking at is completely out of touch with what's going on. Now, he did also say that he wants to get more revenue up, and the ACC just had a record revenue year in terms of their contracts, which is great, but it's still markedly behind these other super conferences, as I would call them. And where Notre Dame goes will greatly affect how much more revenue goes into the ACC pile. So, and from what I'm hearing, that grant and rights of TV deals, there is a codicil in there that says that number has to remain competitive. And if it doesn't remain competitive, then there's basically a loophole for these other teams to get out. So, who define competitive? If you're 40% less than what the other teams are getting, is that competitive? I would say that's no. I don't know what the legal standard is, but I would point to that. And would a penalty still apply for leaving if there's a loophole in the contract? So that's something for the lawyers to decide. What I've seen basically is in these deals, if teams want to move, they can move. And to me, eventually Florida State, Clemson especially, are going to end up in the SEC. That seems the most likely to me.
There's no way. There's just 0.000 chance that once this all happens with Texas and Oklahoma and the whole USC thing, and I'm only saying USC right now. I'm not saying UCLA, because I'm sure you've seen what's going on there with Governor Newsom, who's trying to block them from going there. Again, I don't like my politicians mixing with my sports, but I guess there was something that he might have an actual argument. There's something UCLA didn't file something, or I don't know. They have to approve it. They didn't get it approved. I have zero idea what's going on there. But to me, that kind of move, that's a lot worse for UCLA if they get stuck behind because of some political nonsense that they are dealing with over there. So I only say USC for now. But my point is like if they see those big programs go, and let's say Oregon makes a move, which right now looks the most likely move they're making, maybe to the Big 12. Let's see the rest of the Pac-12 jettisons to the Big 12. If you're Florida State, Miami, and Clemson and North Carolina, that 4, how do you sit on your hands?
You can't.
Because if that happens, you become conference number 4, whereas right now I think you're conference number 3. And you're really going nowhere because nobody else is coming to your conference.
Right.
So you're just dead in the water.
Right.
And eventually I'm thinking the Big 12, somehow that's going to get dispersed to the Big 10 and the SEC as well. And then you're really dead in the water.
Well, let me ask you this. What if the ACC were to add Notre Dame,
Okay.
Oregon?
ACC?
Yeah. Clearly, geographics mean nothing now.
I just can't even I can't even process that.
Right. So but I'm just saying, what if they were to add Oregon, Washington, and let me go a little crazy here because Stanford I know is a bigger name, but I'm talking about bigger markets that you could bring in, Arizona and Arizona State.
Oh yeah.
So if you bring in those 4 teams to the ACC, let's throw Notre Dame in there. So let's say Notre Dame, Oregon, Arizona State, or a combination of Washington and Stanford. You pilfer the best programs in the Pac-12. Now, you look at the ACC with Miami, at ascending Miami now, Florida State, Clemson, who's been in the mix, North Carolina, NC State and Virginia Tech have had their moments. You throw those other programs in there and put it into a TV contract where you've got West Coast, East Coast going on now, some major markets. Hello. That suddenly that looks interesting.
But I don't think the ACC's even like they don't.
Let me throw this at you and go for what I would call a nationwide league.
Okay.
You go, and I'm just saying, off the top of my head, give me Notre Dame, Oregon, because they're such a great presence, Stanford, Kansas, great basketball, Oklahoma State, or maybe a Baylor, where you pilfer a couple of nice programs from the Big 12, the Pac-12, and add Notre Dame. Now that TV contract starts to look really, really interesting.
You didn't mention the Knights of Orlando in your little thesis there.
Yeah, well, we already have a Florida presence in Florida State, so there you go. But you know what? You could add UCF in there as well. You could go to 20 if you're the ACC and pick up some really big markets from a television standpoint, some really big brands. That would be super aggressive.
Well, I don't get the feeling from Jim Phillips that he's going to be aggressive.
No, he's like basically saying, we're not going to make a move just to make a move.
It's not making a move to make a move. It's like it's kind of a game of chess. You have to keep up with the Joneses. It's not making a move to make a move. It's making a move to keep your head above water at this point. Like, right. I mean, I think it's that serious.
I mean, if you throw that league out there that I just threw out, I'll put that up against the SEC, especially when you start throwing in basketball and that's a revenue sport and other markets that are very, very interesting. And certainly are not captured by the ACC right now, and scrap the ACC national, call it the ACC national conference. And so now you have a literal nationwide footprint with some very, very big brands. You had a brand of Oregon and Notre Dame, and I know Arizona State don't render a lot to a lot of people, but they represent some big markets in a big population state, in a growing state. And a West Coast, but you could look at Stanford. You could look at Kansas has a nice footprint in terms of basketball. Oklahoma State, Baylor. I mean, there are some big time programs out there.
Logistically, I can't even if you told me to sit down and logistically try to iron this out, how it's all going to work.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know where to begin. And of course, I'm not being paid to make those decisions, but I don't really trust the people that are being paid to make the decisions to get it together.
Yeah.
So I think logistically, I just can't for the life of me see how it works. I don't know how you tinker with what to me is already great. I understand that.
We're past that.
I understand we're past it. I get it. I just would love for somebody to tell me what was so wrong about the system we've had.
Nothing.
How our sports work, they're always put together.
This is all
by
about money.
geographics.
This is all about money.
Okay, but here's my thing. The NFL is about money, is it not?
Yeah.
But you don't see us putting the Cowboys and the Patriots and the Steelers all in the same division just for the hell of it because of money. I'm sure that would bring in a lot more money, would it? Because we're seeing the Cowboys and the Steelers play each other twice a year. I'm sure that'd be great for the NFL, would it not?
Yeah.
But we're not doing that, are we?
Mm-mm.
Because we have sense. Geographics have always been what divides teams and everything. And
Especially in college football.
especially in college football. And I asked for like the smaller programs, and I guess it really doesn't give a matter if you are a smaller program because this is moving on without you. But if you're, let's say Oregon State. I'm just throwing Oregon State out there, right?
Yeah.
They have some valuable commodities, really good baseball program. They can get some things going. I know baseball doesn't really move the needle. Nobody cares. But I'm just saying, when Oregon State let's say if they were one of the chosen ones of the Pac-12, which I don't think they would be.
No.
But let's just say you're the same conference.
I love
as
the
Miami.
Beavers and the logo.
I feel for all the other sports, I guess, that are having to pay so much money then to travel for like a quote unquote lesser sport.
I think at some point,
but I feel like that just doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I think at some point, again, the NCAA needs to look at all things and say, maybe we detach football from these conference affiliations and the non-revenue sports stay in geographic conferences. I mean, that's
just
like
a clown show. In my opinion.
Exactly. It's become a clown show. But what's a bigger clown show? Sending UCLA sending their tennis teams and their rowing teams and their gymnastics teams constantly across the nation.
That's what I'm saying.
For a weekend,
that to me just seems ridiculous.
At Rutgers, no, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not a cost-effective way to run sports. It's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, that's why the whole damn thing needs to be blown up and everything needs to be put into geographical pods, get back to, rivalries and making sense out of this.
Here's my thing. And I was just about to point out literally point out, we need to ask somebody to speak on this. But here's who am I asking to speak with? On behalf of the NCAA, is there anybody that has authority over anybody?
No, the NCAA is a joke. I mean, it literally needs to be disbanded. I mean, they have no power anymore. Like the SEC and the Big Ten, these conferences don't even listen to them anymore.
Stepping right over.
They just whatever. And it's like when they came out with this, like in the middle of summer, they had that big convention. They were like, hey, we got rules in this NIL thing. Boosters can't be involved in NIL. That's against the NCAA rule. And everybody's like, what? Who's that? What?
Well,
What the hell are you talking about, bro? That train is way down the tracks.
It makes you wonder, like, who's making the bowl game schedules?
ESPN.
Who invented the playoff?
ESPN.
Like, it's just crazy.
Seriously, ESPN is running college football now because they control the purse strings. They control these TV contracts. They're controlling everything. And, Fox is trying to get their foot in the door in this window, in the college football window. So those are the people that are running the deal. And, this NCAA is really kind of an afterthought now. And it either needs to be disbanded or, like I said before, to me, the only people that would have any power to do this, to break it all up and bring it all back together again is the Congress. And maybe individual states banding together because these are a lot of these are public facilities that they play in. They're public universities.
I've subscribed to the Mike Leach theory on that one.
What?
Who said we're really going to put this in the hands of Congress?
No, listen.
Tell me three things.
The worst possible.
Tell me three things they've done in the last 5 years. What Mike Leach said.
I totally agree with that. But I would say this: they are an arm to put pressure on these universities to make changes. The SEC
well, why does
and whatnot.
It have to come to that? This is
because the adults in the room couldn't figure it out,
and that's the problem. This is college athletics.
Yeah, because the adults in the room couldn't figure it out.
And we have to go to Congress to figure something out.
I told you years and years ago this was going to happen, and they just let it happen because they're so greedy. Nobody wants to give up their power for the betterment of the collective.
I tell you what, I know the money's good right now to be a coach in college football, but I would be out of there. I mean, if somebody in the NFL said, "Here, come back in return, I'll give you maybe $4 million less a year. You have to take a pay cut, whatever," I'm going. I'm not dealing with this guy. I don't know why the life of me Jim Harbaugh came back. He should have just gone to the NFL.
That's why he's trying to go to the NFL.
Urban Meyer, I understand. It didn't work out, and you're screwed out of the way now. but I understand. I don't know why you want to be in college football now as a coach.
It's crazy, and they're losing a lot of them. And I don't know how long the Nick Sabans are going to be around because their legacy is cemented. And
But here's the thing.
How much more money do you
Nick
need?
Saban's in the perfect spot for this because he's Alabama. He's running the whole thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to worry about it where he's going next. He knows where he's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll take our final break. We'll come back on the other side, get to a couple of other stories that I have on the docket here. So quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. It's a couple minutes left here. Our thanks to our sponsors, American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald. If you are in the market for a loan or a refinance, he told me the other day that we're going to have him on Friday to explain the new program they have over there. That rates are actually coming down a little bit because since they took that sharp upward trend that all business stopped. So they're trying to get people back in the market. So give him a call and find out where everything's at. He's going to be able to find you the best rate, no doubt about it, because he's going to shop your loan around to dozens and dozens of lenders. If you call one specific bank or one specific company, you don't get that. So have some leverage and let him do his great work and help you out. And he'll help you out in so many ways, not only just getting you that mortgage, but looking at your overall finances and seeing where a refi will help to reduce your monthly payments. He has a treasure trove of knowledge of things that you probably are not aware of. In this great new program for certain zip codes, you can get rates that are much lower than the going rate, and because they're trying to incentivize people to buy and invest in certain zip codes. It's a government program, so you can get lower rates and much easier to qualify for these loans as well when it comes to income verification, etc. So find out all about this new program. They're one of the few companies offering it. It's American Mortgage Services. That's Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. All right, a couple of things we want to get to. Interesting story that you just showed me that Dave Chappelle has been banned from a theater in Minneapolis.
Yeah, so last night he was supposed to do his set at First Avenue, which is a theater, I believe, in Minneapolis. It was a sold-out show, the whole 9 yards, and like hours before the performance that he was supposed to give. the theater decided to cancel his show
hours before
a sold out show. Yes. And they put out a big statement, and basically it has to do with backlash that he's received over comments in some of his previous Netflix specials that have been criticized as transphobic.
So the mob wins again.
My thing with this is
what?
Okay, so this
comedian
special
can't tell his jokes.
This Netflix special came out in
place.
2021.
Yeah.
So you've had to have known about this if
Absolutely.
you're this theater.
Yes.
So how do you make this decision hours before with a sold out show?
Because the bots all got on Twitter.
And this is one of the biggest comedians in the entire world, probably. And there's such a great, I don't know it's such a gray area now with comedy. I don't know what it is.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but we're not able to
If you're offended,
separate.
don't go to the damn show.
We're just not able to I don't know. I have no idea anymore.
This is censorship, pure and simple. And it continues to go on. And people, this is not about, that's not dangerous speech. Go listen to George Carlin and Richard Pryor. This is not dangerous speech. And by the way, if somebody says something, why is it all of a sudden, oh, well, that's infecting people, that's misinformation? You don't have to believe it just because somebody says it on Twitter. You can have a brain and say, yeah, I don't believe that, or I get the joke. I mean, this is why, and this is just government and mob censorship, and they're trying to make okay. It's not okay. It's the absolute bedrock of democracy. And these people, they're sitting yelling and screaming about democracy, who are at the same time censoring other speech they don't like. You understand those two things are not congruent, right? You understand that. I mean, come on. How stupid do you have to be? You can't have democracy without freedom of expression and free speech and a free media, by the way, which everybody on the left is against or doing their best to squash.
Well,
golly.
Not everybody was SOL because all the varsity theater decided to pick up the show and host it anyway yesterday. So,
well,
the show
where were people sitting? Where,
I don't know. I don't know what
how did they verify the tickets? How did they? I mean, what a disaster! What a bunch of cowards!
I don't know. To me, that's just, again, comedy is comedy, and I just feel like I understand there's serious discussions to be had on this stuff, and we do. I feel like we have a lot more now as a country than we used to. But can we have some it's lighthearted comedy? It's comedy. What is comedy? If we can't joke, I know people say well, these things aren't funny anymore in 2022.
To who?
I guess I feel like we've always been making fun of these things in a comedy realm. We've always just understood it's comedy.
Yes.
And you just all laugh at it and you move on.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Well, the ironic part about it is the people that are asking for tolerance in every way are the most intolerant of them all. If you say no to anything, or if you disagree with them in any way, you're transphobic, you're anti-LGBTQ, you're anti-this, you're anti-that. You can literally have a grown-ass man jump in a pool and set an NCAA record, and people say, oh, yeah, that's all right for women's sports. That's okay. You can literally say a man cannot get pregnant, and people lose their mind. I'm sorry. It's just it's just ridiculous. And now we're canceling shows. Well, that's gonna backfire in some way, shape, or form. No question about that. All right, getting back to the original headline to the show. Kyle Rudolph signs with the Buccaneers. Greg Auman came on, and we talked about what does this mean in terms of Gronk. Still room to sign Gronk, no question about that. This is probably going to be a low number deal. We don't have the numbers on it yet, but we're thinking probably in the $2 million range with incentives. So that would still leave money to sign Gronk. Of course, Gronk coming out and saying against he's definitely done. He's not going back to football. We're all still saying we're leaving the door open for you, Gronk. But also the Kyle Rudolph was, I think, 35th in PFF rankings last year. Certainly better than OJ Howard or Cam Brate. So he's not Gronk, that's for sure. But still, 265 pounds, had 26 catches last year for the Giants in a very bad offense. Obviously would be a much better upgrade over Cam Brate being tight end number one. So, and can do more things. So it's a good signing. Good signing for the Bucs. Gives them insurance, and even if Gronk comes back, you got two guys that can do it. So never a bad thing. All right, thanks to Greg Allman, who came on today. If you missed any part of that, you can always check it out on our app, FanStream Sports. Download the app, please, and you can just tap that app and listen to the show anytime, anywhere. We're also on YouTube. You can go search us there. Please subscribe. Subscribe to our other Twitter page, our show pages, at FanStreamJP is mine, but at the JP Peterson Show. Please subscribe to that on Twitter and also our Instagram. We have a show Instagram as well. Check all that out and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. As always, can't do it without you. We'll be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then.